Tristyn had a good friend amongst his extended family, and treating them poorly based on Aiden's crime does not honor her memory or her spirit. At this point, I would like to transition and thank a number of parties which are typically either overlooked or not thanked. As a start, I would like to first thank our local Jacksonville-based media. A 14-year-old of a 13-year-old, and over time we realized that the facts around this case made. As a start, I would like to first thank our local Jacksonville-based media. Over time, we realized that the facts around this case made it one that was of great public interest. It happened in the well-recognized family county of St. John's. It was a vicious murder by a 14-year-old of a 13-year-old, and it happened on Mother's Day. An absolute lightning rod. Along the way, you have requested our respect for privacy, as well as our intent to wait until these proceedings are complete before sharing our thoughts. I think what is very important, as we saw respectful communication in the coverage and how things are dealt. For example, as a victim's family, I hate seeing the picture of my beautiful daughter next to the person responsible for her murder. I think that's true for most victims' families. When we express this and our outrage and the hurt it caused, we saw a change over time, both in the broadcast as well as the articles, and we appreciate those efforts. While likely also driven through the incredible compassion and love demonstrated from the St. John's community, we also saw a focus of the victim and highlights of Tristyn's life and what she did. This is important. It shouldn't just be about the details of their death. I would suggest there needs to be more focus put on the victims of other crimes and not just these lightning cases. For example, there was a recent murder in Putnam County of Ayanna Belton, which was similar in brutality, and yet not enough highlighted on that family and her loss. Also like to say a very quick word with respect to some of the most social media stories, the podcasts, the channels. More and more people are turning to these channels to get information. It is my hope, honestly, for people to do better and to be more sensitive. For anyone that tunes to these channels, please realize that there are subscribers and web clicks, and you may approximate that to ratings for established news media. Yet this is not reflective of the integrity of the information that you are consuming. Over the course of the past almost 2 years, we had several people send us links from programs. Many of them were downright nauseating. They were inaccurate. They were over-dramatization. Truly, it's hurtful to the victims' families. They're profiting from this. However, there were some that were very truthful, some that had done some research, and there were some that were out there that were trying to do a good job. How you tell the difference between them is not clear. So again, I would caution people as to where they get their information. My intent here, though, is not to criticize but encourage people to do better. I would even give a recent example, as there was a Twitter account that posted information that was very unnecessary and hurtful. When a good family friend reached out to them to explain this, they connected that this was a real person, with people still grieving for her loss. They then took it down. They stated an apology from what they learned from it. I have no idea who sits behind the keyboard of @docket, and it's unlikely that I never meet the individual. Yet the way he handled the mistake speaks well to his integrity, and it gives me hope that this will improve in time.
114 stab wounds, 49 defensive wounds, 35 wounds to the head and neck, 29 to the back and shoulder, and 6 fatal wounds. This court has reviewed and seen more than its fair share of autopsy photos. The autopsy photos in this particular case were particularly difficult. The 49 defensive wounds indicate that Tristyn Bailey was conscious, that she was aware, and that she was doing everything she could to fend off this attack. She suffered a painful, horrifying death from someone that she trusted. Her screams were most likely stifled by her own suffocating lungs. He lured her into a secluded place in the woods near his home, a person that she trusted, and he led her there under false pretenses. There was a heightened level of premeditation in this case. Based on the prior statements that he made to his girlfriend and his friend, he indicated that he was going to kill someone. At which point he determined that it was going to be Tristyn Bailey, I don't know. But there was going to be a victim. He indicated that how he was going to do it, that he would take them into a wooded place, that he would stab them, he would kill them and then run away so that he could keep on killing. He told his best friend that he wanted to kill someone to see what it felt like, and he wanted to watch them bleed out. This particular crime was committed with the weapon of choice as a knife, which he nicknamed Poker. That required a up-close, personal, type of murder that is rare. It's unique. The court accepts that in 2019, of all juvenile arrests, only 7% were violent and only 1% of those were homicides. This crime is clearly an outlier, and it was shocking, and it is shocking to the conscious. This court finds that the defendant's participation in this offense was not the result of immaturity or impetuosity. He understood the risks and consequences of his actions. He previously told his girlfriend that he was going to do this. That clearly shows that he had been planning it. He attempted to cover it up by disposing of the murder weapon and throwing it into a lake. He then attempted to conceal evidence by hiding his shoes and shirt and jeans, taking a shower, stealthily entering his home, and then the actions immediately after, with the Snapchat videos in the back of the police car and the story that he made up about pushing her and her hitting her head, which was clearly refuted by the video evidence in this case. All of that shows, and this court finds, that this was not an immature or an impetuous type of crime. It makes it unique. It makes it extraordinary. What is also very troubling is that this crime had no motive. This was not done out of greed. It was not done in retaliation, retribution, or revenge. It was not a crime of passion. It was not a crime that was committed because he felt rejected by her. It was not done in a fit of uncontrollable anger. There was no reason. There was no purpose. It was done for no other reason than to satisfy this defendant's internal desire to feel what it was like to kill someone. It was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense for moral or legal justification, and it was heinous, atrocious, and cruel. This factor and this factor alone makes this case and this defendant more than just unique. It is for this reason and all of the reasons previously stated that leads this court to the conclusion that there is only one appropriate sentence in this case. Mr. Fucci, if you and your attorneys would please rise. Counsel, is there any legal reason why this court cannot impose sentence at this time?
No, sir.
Mr. Fucci, having entered a plea of guilty to the crime of first-degree murder, I adjudicate you guilty of the premeditated first-degree murder of Tristyn Bailey. I sentence you to life in prison. Because of your age, you are eligible for review of the sentence in 25 years. I order the Department of Corrections to notify you when you are eligible to apply for your review hearing. Madam Clerk, if you will please impose the minimum fines and court costs. Mr. Fucci, you have 30 days to appeal the legality of this court's sentence. If you wish to appeal but cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. You will be taken back to the Duval County Jail and then transported into the Florida State Prison System. We are adjourned.